Welcome, welcome everyone. This is Dr. David Pascal talking to you from Cary, North Carolina, the Pascal Health Institute, and I have some very exciting information to share with you today. I've just returned from Europe. I was 10 days in Baden-Baden, Germany for the 57th Medicine Week. This is an annual seminar, Europe's largest convention for alternative healthcare, where doctors and healthcare practitioners from all over the world come to this historic city of health and healing, Baden-Baden, Germany, for an amazing conglomeration of lectures and networking and the latest state-of-the-art diagnostics, treatment, equipment, medicines, supplements, the whole nine yards. The very first time that I heard about Medicine Week was in 2000. I went through a 2-year-long training program on a specific approach to healthcare that they use in Europe called European Biological Medicine. Now in the United States, we call it bioregulatory medicine. And it was at this seminar that I first learned about things like dark field microscopy and cold lasers and all these cutting edge tools that the Europeans were using, in some cases decades before we here in the US have used. It wasn't until 2018 that I finally made it to Baden-Baden for my very first Medicine Week. It was an amazing experience. I went with a group of 30 other American healthcare providers, and that is where I was first introduced to a few things that I use in my office, like our Sound of Soul, which is from Austria, and our photon generator, which is from Germany, and our water imprinter, and it's a very complicated device, but we use it to restructure the water molecules and energize them so that we can give those to our patients water to drink while they're here undergoing care. I planned on coming back to Baden-Baden 2 years later. I figured I'd take a year break. And when 2020 rolled around, the world had shut down. COVID and the pandemic had closed all of that. And so actually Medicine Week was postponed for 3 years. And then finally last year I had my plane ticket. I was all set to go. Everything was blocked off on my schedule. I was so excited to finally be returning. And then something happened. I can't recall at this point, but I had to cancel my ticket and say, we're going to have to put this off to 2024. Well, the universe, sometimes it makes things a little more difficult than one would like it to be. And this year was no different from that. In January, I blocked off my schedule for the last week in October, first week in November, so that I could go to Medicine Week. And I just counted down the months. I was so excited to go. And then a bunch of stuff happened and I wasn't able to go. I had to delay my trip for a couple days, but ultimately I was able to reschedule and hop on a plane. I went to Prague for a few days of rest and to actually be a tourist and not a studier, learner, like I usually spend most of my time. That was great. Prague is a gorgeous, beautiful city. Czech Republic is an amazing country. People were incredible and warm, and highly recommend you visiting if you get a chance. Then I hopped on a train, went over to Baden-Baden, and it just so happens, if you look on a map, if you look at Prague in the east and about a 6-hour drive almost straight west is Baden-Baden, Germany. Well, halfway in between is Nuremberg, Germany, which is a very historic old German town. It still has its original wall around the old part of town. It's the last walled, fully walled city left in Germany. And it is the home of the original Christmas market. And the gingerbread cookie was invented there. And not only was a gingerbread cookie invented there, but you could say I was invented there too, because that is where I was born. I was born in Nuremberg, a Christmas town on Christmas Day. And so I've always had a special affinity for Germany. I had gone there when I was a teenager. I hadn't been back since in all my other subsequent trips to Europe, but it worked out perfectly this year, and I did get to go spend a couple of days back in Nuremberg, the tiny village that I was born in. That was rejuvenating and quite fun. And then I took a 3-hour train on into Baden-Baden. And this is a very world-renowned, famous town because it has natural mineral springs that have been there, I guess, for as long as we've had recorded history. And people have always gone there and soaked in the mineral baths and healed up. And there are a couple European spas that are set up with these original thermal springs coming up out of the ground, and they've built, spas around them, and so you have access to these ancient healing waters. And I definitely made a point of going every single day that I was there and spending 2 or 3 hours in the spas. It was amazing, and that was a perfect setup for the 57th Medicine Week. And my purpose of going is to learn, right? I'm always trying to learn, always trying to find better ways to diagnose, better ways to treat, what, the latest pieces of equipment and thoughts to help my complex regional pain syndrome patients and my neurologic patients, my immunologic patients, all the patients, different patients that I see. And I was really hoping that I would be able to find whatever that next cutting edge thing is to add to the 60 plus treatment modalities that I already have, so that I'd be able to do an even better job to help my patients. And I was excited that Medicine Week did not disappoint. They had a whole set, although it's in Germany and almost all of the lectures are taught in German, they do have a separate set English speaking program. And so that was 4 days of lectures in English, amazing lectures on immunology and diagnosis and neurology and all these different things that I need to have to continue to grow as a practitioner. So I definitely enjoyed that. And then they have this amazing vendor hall with all sorts of space age equipment. They have diagnostics, so that can be latest labs, or it can be different machines that they use to help better diagnose various conditions in the body. And then treatment modalities. So one of my favorite modalities that I've always been interested in is a plasma machine. So it is a machine that generates a plasma field. They've been around for I don't know how long, years and years and years. I've looked at several of them. There's a company here in the United States that makes one. A couple of my colleagues have this machine, but for the setup of my office and the requirements of that American plasma machine, I couldn't use it. But one of the very first things that I did see when I went to Baden-Baden was a brand new Rife plasma machine out of the Czech Republic. And what had happened was some scientists had found an old machine from the 1940s that had come from the United States, built in the United States in the 40s, made its way to Europe, survived all these years, and now was in disarray and disuse. And they deconstructed it, figured out what made it work, what it does, and actually it is unique in being able to diagnose the body. Like you can break down the body in different organ systems, but also instead of that, you can look at the body and say, is there any type of bacterial infection? Is there any type of viral infection? Is there any type of fungal or mold infection? Is there some type of parasite? And it will correctly, accurately diagnose exactly what the person has. And then it has a treatment program to kill that virus or kill that bacteria or kill that parasite, kill that mold or fungus. And just is exactly the type of machine that I was looking for. It's one of the few pieces of technology that we do not have in our office, and I'm ecstatic to say that it is being shipped to me as we speak. So I'll be looking forward to being one of only a handful. There are only a couple in use in the United States right now. And so I'm excited that we will be able to use that. Another machine that I saw that I like is a variation on a machine that we have called the Live O2. I've talked to you about that in the past. The great thing about the Live O2 machine is that it allows the brain to get higher levels of oxygen deeper into the brain tissue. And then the oxygen helps to heal the brain tissue. I'm going to have to cough a second, pardon me. I just got off of a plane less than 48 hours ago, so forgive me if I'm still a little rough for my travels. Anyways, we love our Live O2. We've seen amazing results, but one of the things that is a limiting factor with it is in order to do its thing, you have to be able to physically exercise, either be on a recumbent bike like the two that we have in our office, or use hydraulic weight machine, which we also have in our office. But some people cannot physically exercise, either for physiologic reasons or neurologic reasons. With this new machine, it does the same type of thing in terms of being able to introduce oxygen deep into the brain tissue for all of the healing benefits, but it's totally passive. So you just lay there, you have a special oxygen mask on, you're hooked up to a heart monitor, heart rate variability, and then it is able to give you those benefits while you're just laying there. So now we are able to bring this technology to a whole group of patients that in the past we have not been able to help at all. So super excited that will be coming to us as well. Another interesting thing that they do have in Baden-Baden in Medicine Week, they have a ton of different machines, and some machines I can't use, but I can modify their protocols. Like way back when I first did the European Biological Medicine program, starting in 2000, most of the people that go through that program are medical doctors, and so a lot of their treatments involved injecting different homeopathics or supplements or vitamins or even medications into the patient to help them. Well, as a chiropractor, I can't inject anything into a patient. But I was one of the first group, one of the first doctors in the US in that first group using cold lasers. And it dawned on me, even though I can't actually inject something into the human body, I can take a vial of whatever it is that I want to use and laser it into the body, because you can take the resonance, the frequency of any product and shoot that frequency into the body with cold lasers. And so starting back in 2000, when I knew I couldn't inject, I said, well, I can inject with light. And so I've been doing that since then with great results. I would say equal results to MDs that are injecting things. I'm able to get the same results injecting those products with light into the body. And this last time in Baden-Baden, there's a machine that I've seen in the past where they are taking needles, putting them into the veins, and then hooking up lasers and injecting light, literally light, into the veins of the human body for, all the physiologic benefit of laser. And as I talk, and I've seen these machines, I'd love to have one, but of course I can't break the skin. But we do know that the difference between injecting light through a needle or through the skin, the only difference is through the skin absorbs more of the light. So what you have to do is you can get the same benefit, you just need a longer treatment time. And so I was talking to these doctors about where they're injecting, what frequencies of light they're injecting, how they're injecting, and I was able to pick up a few brand new for me clinical tips on how to use the the cold lasers that I already have in my office, but in a new way to increase our therapeutic benefit. So definitely picked up some very good clinical tips that we're able to implement right away, which we know will have a big impact on our outcomes. My phone's going crazy. Sorry about that. And lastly, another thing that they have, there are a number of vendors there that have different homeopathic medicines, that have a number of supplements, vitamins, and one booth that I came across, a company called Padma, which is a Swiss company. They have a whole line of supplements that are based on Tibetan medicine. And it's just a whole different approach from Western medicine. They're coming from a more whole earth, spiritual, grounded viewpoint. And their products are made primarily of herbs, these things that are really dirt, right? They're just grounded. They're not dirt, but they're of the earth and filled with the energy of the earth. And if you've heard my conversation about pulse electromagnetic field and how the earth emits this low level magnetic field that helps heal our cells, we know that when we eat whole organic raw foods, that they have a vitality that cooked food just doesn't have. And when we ingest different herbs that are in different homeostatic balance, that we will get increased benefit from that. So I was introduced to this line of products, and as I said, based on Tibetan medicine, and I think they're phenomenal. We've already put some of our patients on these products. I started taking them just so that prophylactically I can become healthier, because I'm trying to live as long as possible and have as high a quality of life as possible, as are all of you. And so I'm very excited that we have these products now to integrate into all the other care that we're doing. So in summary, I just want to say that the 57th Medicine Week was phenomenal. I was able to come away with some new clinical gems and some new products and some new instruments that we can meld into the treatment programs that we're already doing, so that we can continue to provide care at the highest level that we can. So I invite any of you to ask me questions. If there's anyone live, please feel free to do that. If you're watching this on a tape delay, you can still ask us questions. We are looking on our Facebook group all of the time. And I also would like to remind you that this work that we're doing is very important because people's lives are truly being destroyed by complex regional pain syndrome. And I greatly appreciate you watching. If you have CRPS, please know that I am your biggest advocate. I am fighting, as hard as I can to help you to the best of my ability. And one of the biggest step you can make in your life is to reach out, talk to me, um, ask questions. You don't have to come see me. You can, because sometimes people are worried about all the steps that might take. Just reach out, ask questions. Let's start a conversation. There are many things that I've been able to develop to help um, treat you or support you while you are not even in my office. So, with that, I think I also want to remind you that we do these Facebook Lives weekly for the most part, except when I'm in Baden-Baden or probably Christmas. But our next one will be next Tuesday at 2 o'clock East Coast time, and we're going to be it's going to be part 4 of our treatment modality series. We're going to be talking about our RF machine, our radio frequency machine, which is shortwave diathermy, totally amazing machine, and our Avicen, which is truly a Western medicine device developed by the medical world to help decrease pain. And that does remind me that Avicen uses heat in this very particular uh, vascular way to inhibit pain in the body. Totally fascinating. And at Medicine Week, there's a brand new machine, not available in the United States yet, but instead of using heat, they're using cold with that same premise because it's one part of the body where the arteries and the veins come together. And they're taking advantage of this unique circulatory thing to create a neurologic benefit. And the Avicen uses heat. This other machine that I actually tried while I was in Baden-Baden uses cold, and we have a special machine in our office, the CryoFos, which also uses cold, and I'm pretty sure that I can jury rig our CryoFos machine to do basically the cold version of Avicen. So if you have some acute or chronic pain out there and you'd like to be my guinea pig to see just how well I can jury rig that, then please reach out as well. Come on in, and we will see what else we can do to help. So with that, no questions. No questions right now. All right. I love you. I care about you. I wish you all the best and look forward to hearing from you. Have a great, great week and keep on healing.